Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Bianca. And how the heck are we already in February? But you know what? It's okay. If one of your New Year resolutions is to break into venture capital, you have 11 more months to go, and this video is for you. I had this idea because I happen to receive a lot of questions from people who really want to break into VC. But the weird thing about the available resources out there is that most of the answers are rather vague. And in most VC job descriptions, you'll tend to notice that they all have the same high-level buzzwords about being super passionate about startups, having a lot of conviction for a certain sector, yada yada yada. Yet, they don't exactly tell us much. So I simply thought of just offering some clarity to these questions and perhaps give you some insight into how VCs think when they accept or reject candidates. So something to just bear in mind is that I'm not someone who is from the human resources department, nor I am someone with the hiring decision-making power yet. I am simply an analyst sharing some application tips that work well for me. Besides that, circumstances matter. So take only what's useful for you and discard the rest. Regardless, I hope that this video is useful for anyone who is hoping to just navigate the venture capital scene better. Let's get started. So on my end, I would say that there are a few key areas that I feel every VC candidate would need to understand if they want to get the job. The first one is to simply know the VC firm you are applying to. In short, not all VC firms are the same. And because of that, the general mindset and investment appetite might differ from one VC firm to another. So I would just say that it's pretty vital for you to just familiarize yourself with the different types of VC firms out there, figure out which type may be suitable for you before kickstarting your application. And if we want to just broadly segment VC firms into a few key categories, I could say that there are four main types. The first type would be institutional VC. These are essentially independent funds investing in startups with high growth potential. In the majority of cases, the money comes from a variety of investors ranging from ultra high net worth individuals to university endowment funds or even corporate institutions. With that, they usually exist to make money and have a lot more control over their investment decisions, whether it is regarding their thesis or industry sectors to cover. Next one would be corporate VCs, which is basically a designated investment arm of a company that gets their money from the company's balance sheet. So depending on the specific corporate VC you're working at, their investment objective can be either purely financial or strategic, or simply a mixture of both. And the funding stages as well as industry verticals that they invest in is also largely subjected to the discretion of the parent company. So you could argue that there is relatively less decision-making power here compared to independent VC firms. Following that, we have family offices. These are usually VC firms that are responsible for managing the wealth and investments for single or even multiple families. So similar to corporate VCs, the kinds of investments you may make can vary significantly between different family offices, as this would largely depend on the family themselves. But in most cases, family offices would have the objective of making money, but sometimes in a more opportunistic sense. And finally, we have angel syndicates, which, as its name suggests, is basically a group of angel investors who pool their money together to invest in a particular company with the hopes of generating opportunistic financial gains. So the level of control here is often low to moderate, and you tend to cast your net towards super early stage companies. With that, this brings us to our second tip. So the next advice I have is to essentially build two kinds of network in the name of networking effectively. Ideally speaking, you will want to try to get to know people who can, number one, help you land a VC role. For instance, these could be analysts or managers working at your target VC firm and are nice enough to give you some mock interviews. Secondly, another type of network you would ideally also want to build would be a network of outstanding entrepreneurs. For example, you may want to attend a few industry conferences or even startup demo days so that you can try to meet people who are equally passionate about a similar cause as you are. Therefore, with these two kinds of network, you may be able to get some insider tips on how your target VC firm's interview processes would be like, and in your best case scenario, you may be also able to demonstrate your potential in bringing in top startups to the company. Having mentioned that, this brings me to my third point. act like you're already a venture capitalist. So the funny thing about VC is that you don't necessarily have to be working at a fund in order to start investing. This therefore means that you have the opportunity to just test the waters first before making VC your career. On the other hand, it's always important to just bear in mind that VC firms, whenever they're hiring candidates, they will always be questioning themselves as to whether this applicant can truly add value to the company. Or in simple terms, is this person able to offer something unique to the table? Some of the most outstanding VC applicants that I have met are essentially people who are shameless enough to just share their original perspectives and thoughts before they even get the job. And they essentially do this via various means, such as crafting a thesis on a startup that the VC firm could potentially invest in, or perhaps try to synthesize insights from recent industry news, or in certain cases, some applicants have even developed a PowerPoint presentation on how they could specifically add value to one of the VC firm's portfolio companies. And they do this for a while with their target VC firms before even asking them for an employment opportunity. This subsequently helps the company to build some confidence in the candidate's genuine interest in the role, as well as this belief that they are a low-risk hire. So those are some of my personal thoughts on how you could break into VC. I'll be honest, it is definitely a lot of work and commitment before you're even hired for the job. But I suppose the hard truth is that the VC industry is ultimately a people-driven industry. So whether we like it or not, everyone takes time to build trust and confidence in a complete stranger. The only thing that is honestly within our personal control as candidates is our ability to continuously demonstrate passion as well as our reliability. But of course, this is simply one person's perspective. With that said, I have been fortunate enough to have a few friends within the Southeast Asian VC industry who has been really kind enough to share their unique views on how you could break into VC. And hopefully, this could offer a diversity of ideas on how you could do so. That being said, I am going to pass my mic to them and give them the spotlight to share what they have to say. Hope that they are all insightful to you.
Hi, it's Hyacynthia Kusuma. You can call me Cynthia. I'm currently working at Teja Ventures, a Singapore-based venture capital. 2 tips for you to join VCs. First is to join startup competitions. During my university time, I joined several pitching competitions, and there I got a chance to have a full workshop from product market fit until fundraising. It was all delivered by founders as well as investors. It was the most instant way to access the VC knowledge and to get to understand the VC terms and how VC thinks. That's why we as a candidate for the VCs actually can stand out from other fresh grads with no VC backgrounds. Second one is actually to broaden your horizon, because when you think about it, it's not always about financial. When we think about it, there are a lot of factors beyond that. It's about founders, it's about product, it's about market. That's why every time the VC asks you what are the factors to consider, it's not always about financials. Good luck!
So, it's John, and I think one tip to break into the venture capital space is to keep asking. Ask venture analysts about the type of companies that they're interested in and the reasons behind this interest. Next, you can ask founders and entrepreneurs themselves. Ask them the challenges they face when running their startup or their business. It doesn't have to be a founder of a huge startup or a seed stage startup. It can be as simple as a restaurant owner. Ask them the challenges they face. Is it rental? Is it marketing? And how they go about solving these challenges. Through these interviews, you pick up key business principles that will help you in your venture capital career. And the third group of people to ask are venture partners themselves. Ask them what brought them to that position, the key traits they're looking for in venture capital analysts. I think as you ask more people within the venture capital space, you get a clearer picture of this industry, and also you find your own personal reasons as to why you want to join this industry in the first place. Well, I wish you good luck and all the best, and hope to see you in one of the venture capital funds. See you.
Hi, my name is Wern, and I'm an analyst at 500 Southeast Asia, which is a regional fund of 500 Global. Few pointers I want to mention that Bianca has mentioned are: number one, remember your why and be able to clearly articulate it, both during an interview and on your resume/CV. And that kind of includes like why now, why this firm, and why me out of all candidates, like why VC and why this specific role that you're applying for. Because I think above anything else, setting the intention from the get-go is really helpful, in both for you to understand why you are wanting that role in VC or to break into VC, as well as convincing the VC like why you are the perfect person for that role despite other people that they might be interviewing as well. And so I think that's like probably a really core thing that I really honed in on during my interview and also articulated during my application process. And number two, I would say having a general understanding of VC, how it works, who are its key stakeholders, the role it plays in the greater entrepreneurship ecosystem are all super important, and would also kind of show that you have prepared for this interview and you know what you're doing. And so they would have to spend less resources in order to get you to speed in the whole world of VC. And so I think those are two key points that I think would be super helpful if you are trying to break into venture capital.
Two things that I would say help me break into VC that might help you is really making sure you have a very strong network. And the second thing is, offering a lot of value out for people, but not expecting anything in return. So when I say that, let me talk about the networking aspect first. So 18 to 20 months before even starting out VC, I made sure I connected and met a lot of people. In my case, this was throughout Southeast Asia. So Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore. I made sure I knew investors, founders, and key business people in these markets. I would say that's very important. As a VC, you're assessed on the best deals you find and also the network you build. And so also, especially when you go to other countries, right? And, or even if you want to sort of learn about similar models in other countries that might work, you need to talk with founders and investors in those markets, right? I would say that was a very important aspect overall, the networking aspect, and that is what I spend a lot of time doing, really meeting a lot of people. And the second thing is offering a lot of value, but not expecting anything in return. So when I say that, I mean, what I did at the early days, in my case, was I really helped a lot of people, met a lot of people, helped connect people, helped them get in certain companies, helped companies find investors. I really helped a lot there, right? So as I say, whenever I was able to help there, some people opened a few doors for me. So yeah, I would say that is what I think you should do at the early days. Really just focus on learning and meeting new people and just try to help as many people as possible. Whether that's that new company you want to join, they might connect you with the right person.
On that note, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. A special shout out to Cynthia, Jonathan, Shuwen, and Richard for taking the time to share your perspectives. If you found it to be insightful, do consider supporting my channel by hitting the like, subscribe, and bell icon. And if you're someone hoping to just get a glimpse into what a VC analyst job entails, I've actually made a video discussing that, so do consider checking that out if you're interested. Till then, I wish all of you a pleasant day ahead, be kind to yourself and others, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye bye!